Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next key. We're actually in section 5. I do them in little chunks here. So we are key to Theosophy 16. And we are in the fundamental teachings of Theosophy on God and prayer. And who am I? I'm simply a fellow student of Theosophy. Okay, I call this channel because I want to remove my name and personality from these teachings because they are the star of the show. I found it. Here it is. They are the star of the show. It is not about me. I am simply one of many, a vlogger, a voice, a former broadcaster. So yogi meaning one who applies yoga. Yoga means to unite. Okay, so it means to unite. One who applies the uniting, and it is my understanding of the higher and lower self. One who studies the ancient wisdoms to unite with the divine wisdom. So theos, meaning gods, theology, theosophy, theologian, gods. And then you have Sophia, as in philosophia, love of wisdom, Sophia, meaning wisdom. So what we're going to do today is we're going to keep reading in this book I have attached, and I need to get this in the Yogi Theosophy bookshop on yogitheosophy.com. I do have free theosophical texts. This one is not in there yet because the work on the channel has gotten so busy, I haven't had a chance to put it in there yet. But I will include a link to the original text, the verbatim text. This is called The Key to Theosophy, and it was written down 130 years ago. Written down, and by a woman named Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. These teachings do not originate with Helena. They come through many scribes, many Hermes Trismegistuses throughout the ages, and you will see them in the teachings of all the world's religions. They are the fundamental root of all of the world's philosophies, sciences, and spiritual foundations and religions. So, one who applies, that's me, just one, just like you, the ancient wisdoms, and the application and understanding and study of these teachings has changed my life in such a humongous way. I always say this, that I feel compelled, a very strong drive to be of service. So as a former broadcaster, I can use my media and communication and speaking skills to help share these teachings. So I have voiced some of the books, and I do these book studies here on this channel. And it's just it kind of gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've quit all other sources of income. I used to do voiceovers and radio and all that, but I've stopped that to do this full time because I feel that there is nothing more important to do. So let's get started. So we're in section 5. And really quick, if you go back, you'll see in January of this year, if you start studying the teachings, if you look at the lesson, they're all in chunks. You can start at any time. You can start and pick up anywhere. So number 1 was in January. I think I published it on January 1st of 2018. And you can see a physical transformation as well as the thorough study and application has caused a physical balance of health. So if you want to take a look back at the videos, not only for the teachings, but also you will see a different physical shape here. We have become vegan, we've become compassion, and by becoming compassion, not a diet for external looks, but a diet to not build our body on the suffering of other beings, literally caused a complete balance in both my husband and myself. So blood pressure is down, bloating, weight, balance, skin, hair, everything has changed. It's crazy. We were not expecting that. We only were expecting to not cause any more suffering. So it is funny. It's where your motive is. That's very important about the study of these teachings as well. If your motive is for benefiting others, it will benefit you. But if it's for selfish motives, it probably won't work. Okay. So in section 5 on page 63, in this book, The Key to Theosophy, on God and prayer, we continue. Okay. Remember, this is written in question and answer form. And I highly recommend, this is only my reading it with you and my understanding. You're the one who understands these teachings. It's you. Okay, so however you take these in and revisit them and apply them, that is for you, just like the digestion of your own food. So this is only my understanding, and I'm only a fellow student, and we are all all on the same path. Here we go. Okay, inquirer asks, what is then your definition of it on God and prayer, talking about the absolute? Theosophist answers, let me ask you a question in my turn. What do you understand by pan or nature? Now, pan meaning all-inclusive. Inquirer says, nature is, I suppose, the sum total of all things existing around us, the aggregate of causes and effects in the world of matter, the creation of the universe. Theosophist answers, hence the personified sum and order of known causes and effects, the total of all finite agencies and forces, as utterly disconnected from an intelligent creator or creators, and perhaps conceived of as a single and separate force, as in your cyclopedias? The inquirer says, yes, I believe so. Theosophist answers, well, we neither take into consideration the subjective and material nature, which we call an evanescent, which means fleeting, illusion, nor do we mean by pan, which, let me insert here, these are Greek letters, pi, alpha, and nu, pan, which means all, again. So, nor do we mean by pan nature in the sense of its accepted derivation from the Latin natura, and that becoming from nasi, which means to be born, which some of you will know, and I'm digressing here, but I'll come back to this. Nasi, in Latin, nativitas, that which sound familiar probably, meaning birth, nativitas, natal, okay, which passed through the Anglo-French nativity, which means birth. Okay, so let's go to the answer again. Okay, so Theosophist says, well, we neither take into consideration the subjective and material nature, which we call an evanescent illusion, nor do we mean by pan, nature, in the sense of its accepted derivation from the Latin natura, becoming, from nasi, to be born. When we speak of the deity and make it identical, hence coeval, that's with an E, and that does not EVIL, it's spelled COEVAL, meaning having the same age. So when we speak of the deity and make it identical, hence having the same age, coeval with nature, the eternal and uncreate nature is meant. So when Theosophy speaks of deity, the eternal and uncreate nature is meant. And not your aggregate of flitting shadows and finite unrealities. We leave it to the hymn makers to call the visible sky or heaven God's throne, and the earth or mud his footstool. Our deity is neither in paradise nor a particular tree, building, or mountain. It is everywhere. Everywhere, in every atom of the visible as of the invisible cosmos. In, over, and around every invisible atom and divisible molecule. For it is the mysterious power of evolution and involution. Evolution, involution. The omnipresent, omnipotent, and even omniscient creative potentiality. Again, it is the mysterious power of evolution and involution, the omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient creative potentiality. So beautiful. I'm just looking at my time there. Sorry. I know I go on a little bit. Inquirer says, stop. Omniscience is the prerogative of something that thinks, and you deny your absoluteness, the power of thought. Theosophist says, we deny it to the absolute, since thought is something limited and conditioned. But you evidently forget that in philosophy, absolute unconsciousness is also absolute consciousness, as otherwise it would not be absolute. Inquirer: then your absolute thinks? Theosophist: no, it does not. For the simple reason that it is absolute thought itself. Nor does it exist for the same reason as it is absolute existence. And beingness, that's a term you'll hear, beingness with a B, beingness, not a being. It is beingness. Read the superb Kabbalistic poem by Solomon ben Jedua Gabriel. It is the Keter Malkut, and you will understand. Thou art one, the root of all numbers, but not as an element of numeration. For unity admits not of multiplication, change, or form. Thou art one, thou art one. And in the secret of thy unity, the wisest of men are lost, because they know it not. Thou art one, and thy unity is never diminished, never extended, and cannot be changed. Thou art one, and no thought of mine can fix for thee a limit or define thee. Thou art, but not as one existent, for the understanding and vision of mortals cannot attain to thy existence, nor determine for thee the where, the how, the why, etc., etc. That is the Keter Malkut from Solomon ben Jedua Gabriel. Okay. In short, that's part of the Theosophist's answer. In short, our deity is the eternal, incessantly evolving, not creating, evolving, the builder of the universe, and that universe itself unfolding out of its own essence, not being made. It is a sphere without circumference in its symbolism, which has but one ever-acting attribute, embracing all other existing or thinkable attributes, itself. Now that's huge, so I'm going to repeat that. It is a sphere without circumference in its symbolism, which has but one ever-acting attribute, embracing all other existing or thinkable attributes, itself. It is the one law giving the impulse to manifest eternal and immutable laws, within that never manifesting, because absolute law, which in its manifesting periods is the ever becoming. Okay, I get carried away. These just feel so amazing, and I highly encourage you to pick up the text and read these words for yourself. Spend time with them, revisit them, meditate on them, put them on loop and listen to them. Inquirer says, I once heard of one of your members remarking that the universal deity, being everywhere, was in vessels of dishonor, as in those of honor, and therefore was present in every atom of my cigar ash. Is this not rank blasphemy? And the answer comes from the Theosophist. I do not think so, as simple logic can hardly be regarded as blasphemy. Were we to exclude the omnipresent principle from one single mathematical point of the universe, or from a particle of matter occupying any conceivable space, could we still regard it as infinite? So that wraps up section 5 in the Key to Theosophy, written down 130 years ago. These are ancient teachings. They do not originate with this. This was a very applicable, palatable way in to these ancient teachings. This is not all-encompassing, and it is not just about the author. The physical author of these particular writings could also be, I believe, is it Jacob Boehm is how I say his name, but I think it's Bohemi. I'm not sure how to pronounce that correctly. Oh, God, Giordano Bruno. came through with these. You will see Paracelsus and Plato, all of them. I'll go all the way back to ancient Egypt, and you will see these teachings coming through. They are the foundation. They are the root of all the world's religions, sciences, and philosophies. Next time, which we try to do these every other week, and then we do, in between, we do live book studies. So we'll do a live book study on Light on the Path, which really, well, as an introduction for me, it was a tiny little text. It still is a tiny little text, but it was a powerful text, and it really paved the way into these further studies for me. So what we do is we do an interactive study here on this channel where you can participate. So we go live and we do Light on the Path studies. So next week will be Light on the Path. Week after that, we will come back in for Key 17, which is going in further. I label them in little numbers, but we're simply continuing on into, is it necessary to pray? So here on the Yogi Theosophist channel, that is keeping me crazy busy. I don't understand, really, how come it is so busy, because I would never have guessed in my life that this is what I would be doing in my 52nd year on this planet. The website is yogitheosophy.com. On that website, there is a little store, a digital bookstore. You can download free ebooks. What I did when I first came across these teachings, and the reason I'm even here, is I found them, they just seemed to radiate truth. They just felt really real. And I began to apply them during a very personal period in the year of 2011, 2012. I began to apply them. And it was very painful. And I thought, what have I got to lose? I'll just read these. And finally, this seems to be making sense. So I kept reading and I kept studying and I kept going. And I went to study with the London Lodge of the Theosophical Society in their diploma course. And I was voracious. I was absolutely insatiable. I continued on with the ULT. And then I became a student on my own because I like to keep it simple. Because if I'm with anyone else or following someone, those teachers, unfortunately, far more often than not, become like priests, and they become lost in the light and the magnitude of their higher self. And so what I do is I keep it simple. Yogi Theosophy is just me. If I become corrupt, I only corrupt myself. If I learn, then I can evolve on my own path. And the stage that you are on does not have to be a stage at a huge conference or Hay House or any of these big things. Your stage is your personal life, the immediate people in your world, your husband, your wife, your children, your friends, your family, your coworkers. That's your stage. And by becoming these teachings on that stage, that is how I believe this change is to be made. So in the Yogi Theosophy bookshop, there are these texts that this is 2014, I think I did this, 2014. And I was still really figuring out, because I thought books, well, once you get the book, you just get that out. That's what you do. I republished them so I could voice them. Although the middle of this text is the original 14 lessons in yogi philosophy and Oriental occultism. It is pointing towards this Theosophical classic, which is Light on the Path, which was written down in 1885 by a woman named Mabel Collins. And that's how I found out about the Theosophical Society, or even the word theosophy. And I was like, well, what's that? And I thought, oh my God. And then this whole thing opened up. And Blavatsky writes about Light on the Path that this little book is a true jewel and belongs to and emanates from the same school of Indo-Aryan Buddhist thought and learning as the teachings in the Secret Doctrine. Now look how thick this is. It's tiny. It packs a powerful punch. Every time it's revisited, more is learned. The Secret Doctrine. And these books, you have Anthropogenesis and Cosmogenesis, man and the universe. As above, so below. These are daunting texts. And they need to be read, if you can, in tiny bits and applied and understood. So some people, if they've ever told you they've read The Secret Doctrine and, oh yeah, they've read it on an audiobook or something and they understand it, that, no, this is a powerful text. I believe this could be humanity's textbook. Anyway, these are the ancient teachings, and they're accessible now, not in libraries that are forbidden, but they're all over the internet. You can find them. And so what I've done in Yogi Theosophy is I've made Light on the Path is there for free download. this text, The Voice of the Silence. See, these are small. Even though they're short, they are unbelievably powerful texts, very sacred, ancient texts. And I have voiced them naively. On my journey, I thought that I could voice them and actually be accurate. I don't think they can be voiced, but they are, and I voiced them, and they're available for free on this channel, or you can get them for download. And all of the ebooks will always be free, because I believe everyone should have access to these teachings. You don't have to apply for membership. Membership does not equal a moral salvation. Paying dues or fees, forget all that, okay? It's you. You are the temple. That is the church. Nature is the church. You are the temple. These teachings are free. They're available for all. So that's what I do, is I come on here and share these with you. I also am on the social media outlets trying to increase the awareness of these teachings, because I believe not just me, it's not about me, it's about theosophy. So on all other social media outlets, there are memes, there are different studies, Yogi Theosophy on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. But on Periscope, I have let my hair down a little bit, and there's a little bit of behind the scenes life as to what happens when we're not doing Yogi Theosophy. So you're welcome to join us there as well. So I love you, and I will see you soon. 4/17 in a couple weeks.